Hello everyone and welcome back. Dom here, and in this video I'm going to answer the eternal question. Should I use my effects as inserts or as send effects? Let's find out right after this. So I call this the eternal question because it comes up so much. Why should I use my reverb as an insert effect? Or why should I use it as a send effect? Why is it better to use it as a send effect instead of insert effect? And today I'm going to try and answer this question. But before I start, I want to say that in music, there are no fast rules. There are no like, okay, this is how you should do it and this is how you shouldn't do it. Obviously, there is a little bit of a better way to do it in some cases and a worse way to do it in other cases, or this way will cause you more problems than that way. And this is what I'm going to talk about today because this is something that keeps coming up all the time, and still I think that quite a few people don't know why you need to use, for example, a reverb as a send effect or when you should use it as an insert effect. So let me break it down for you. I'm going to keep it really simple, and I'm going to give you some practical examples of when you should use a reverb, for example, as a send effect, when you should use it as an insert effect, and what other things you can use as insert effects or as send effects. The normal way to use a reverb would be as a send effect. Why? That's the question. There are many reasons why. Reason number one is because the vocal needs to remain at a constant level, okay, throughout the song. Now, here's what happens when you add an insert effect to a vocal. So I'm going to turn off the reverb that I have as a send effect here, and I'm going to add a reverb right here. Okay, so I've added the Valhalla vintage verb right here so I can show you how it works. Now, let's play this vocal. And let's start adding the reverb. Now, here's the problem that arises when you add your reverb as an insert effect. What you're doing essentially here is you're mixing between the dry signal and the fully wet signal, so just the reverb, okay? So while you're doing this, what you're essentially doing is you're pulling down the dry signal in terms of level, and now they're going to be equal level, but if you want to add more reverb, okay, then you're removing your dry signal, which means that now you don't have enough dry signal to drive the track. Most of the times in normal situation, you want to have the dry vocal there and you want to compress it, you want to add an EQ to it, and then you want to make sure that you have a consistent level, and then you add the effects on top of it. If you do it this way with inserts, you don't achieve this, because then if you decide to add more reverb, then you're pulling down the dry signal. If you decide to add less reverb, you're making the dry signal louder. So you can make it work, but it will cause you problems in the context of a mix, okay? So I wouldn't suggest you do this. I would suggest that you use this as a send effect, which is right here. This way, this controls the level of my dry vocal, okay? And this controls the level of my reverb. Now, the important thing to remember is that when you do it this way, you have to go to your send effect. This is my reverb send, okay? And you want to make absolutely sure that your mix is all the way to 100%. So you only get the reverb from your send effect, not the dry signal twice, okay? This is very important. But when you do this and you play the vocal, then you can say, okay, cool. Now I'm going to play it. No reverb first, and then I'm going to introduce the reverb. See that? But the dry level remains intact, remains the same. So all my compressors, all my EQs can work the way they should. Now, the other reason why you might want to add it as a send effect is because you might want to automate your reverb, okay? And then you might want to say, okay, I want to create some reverb throws or some delay throws, all these things. Again, if you have it as a send effect, that's very easy to do. You go like this.
lost control. We gave every inch of our soul.
See that?
Don't know where we lost control.
You know, you can do all this. Of course, you can leave this at 0 and then automate the fader of the reverb channel as well. This is another technique, and this is a completely different topic. Should I go like all the way to 0 here and then automate the fader? Maybe a topic for a different video. Subscribe if you want me to do this, and let me know in the comments down below if you want me to do a video like this. But for now, this gives me a lot of control. My dry vocal remains where it should be, and I have full control of the reverb. On top of that control, let me show you what else you can do. For example, if I play this,
We gave every inch of our soul.
now I can go to my reverb channel here, see, Vox Reverb, and that contains the reverb.
Found home, but I got it wrong. Found love, had to let
Okay, and now I can add effects to this channel. Maybe I want to add a filter, okay, and get rid of this low end rumble for this reverb.
it go. Don't know where we lost control. We gave every inch of our soul. And I don't know if I have it in me
Maybe I want to add some EQ.
to let somebody in again.
Or maybe I want to add a phaser. Let's add a phaser.
And I don't know if I really believe. And I don't know if I have it in me.
Again, I'm adding this phaser just to the reverb, not to the vocal. So this gives me a lot of flexibility. I can add a de-esser to the reverb, okay, so that these S's don't get pronounced with the reverb. You know, there's so much you can do when you use the reverb as a send effect. Same goes for delays. Same goes for other effects that have this kind of specialization. All these things, I would totally suggest that you use them as send effects because of these reasons. Now, would I ever use a reverb as an insert effect? Yes, there are two reasons why. First reason would be out of laziness. If you want to slap a reverb on a demo really fast and you don't have time to add like a send effect, you're really pressed for time and you're lazy, let's face it, then you can add it as an insert effect. But there's also creative reasons why you might want to add reverbs or delays as insert effects. Let me show you one example. I'm going to go to this vocal here. I'm going to remove this reverb, okay? And I'm going to add a reverb from Eventide Black Hole. And this, I might want to use it as an effect. Now, let's say I want to wash this vocal in reverb, okay? This wouldn't work if I use it as a send effect because the dry signal will still be there. Instead, let me show you what I can do here. I can go here and start automating this mix. Let me show you how it sounds.
To let somebody in again.
You know, it's a very cool effect. You hear it on many tracks. And for this, I would use this as an insert and I would probably automate this parameter. And in this case, maybe I'd like to do some cool effects as well.
To let somebody in again.
You know, liftoff and so on and so forth. It's really creative. So like I said, there is no right or wrong. This thing you couldn't do if you had this reverb as an insert or if you had another reverb. You know, it doesn't have to be the black hole. It could be any reverb. But if you wanted to completely remove the dry vocal, it would be much more complex if you tried to do this using a send effect. It wouldn't work this way. So I would probably have this reverb right here, keep it there, mix 0, and then when I want to introduce that effect in that specific moment, I would just, you know, automate this and create this beautiful, you know, kind of spacious effect where the vocal just goes in outer space and so on and so forth. So this is just an example. The other reason why you'd want to do this is maybe you have, I don't know, maybe some specific instrument that you want to have this inside a space, and maybe you want to do some sound design, you know, maybe you want to have like a, I don't know, like a guitar, like a vintage guitar with maybe a plate reverb that's really far away, and you want to have it as an insert so that you can push it far by reducing the dry signal. Again, it's better if you do it with insert effects, you know? So like I said, there is no right or wrong. experiment. That's the beauty with music. We don't have to abide to rules. Nobody's going to be offended if you use a reverb as a send or an insert, but make your life easier. Know what you're doing. Don't just go blindly, just think what you want to do and then use the right method. I think you'll be happier and more creative. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this answered your question on when you should use your reverbs or delays, all these effects as inserts or as sends. If you learned something today, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one, my friends. Take care. Bye-bye.